to sort out the license. Mr. Vaz provided details while responding to questions during a press conference at the ministry's office in New Kingston yesterday. Said Vaz, negotiations have in fact already started. Preliminary discussions have started and meetings have taken place. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Carol Palmer, is the chair of the negotiation team and has very strong instruction in relation to the importance of this. Vaz said, we would hope that we can get it done before July 2027, but definitely by then. That's Mr. Vaz saying that the new license for the JPS, well, it's been renegotiated. In the meantime, gas prices. Good night, caller. Hello, Millicent. Yeah, gas prices are going down at the pump tomorrow. You should be paying less. Good night. Millicent, good night. I don't know what is happening, but I'm not hearing my caller. Good night to you. Hello, Harry.
Night,
hello.
Neighbor.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, neighbor.
All right. Sorry there, Harry. Can you help me to see if I can figure it? Give me a second. You here, please? Oh, here I am now. Harry, just a comment. Harry, the fact of the matter is that at a time when the targets of the party should be coming together, they are bickering about a few little comments here and there, man. What's happening here on this space?
Well, neighbor, I think it's just persons in terms of, egos and emotions, getting the best of people. So, in a sense, like any other thing, any other family, any other group, neighbor, there'll be differences. It's just how these differences are handled and how they maintain the relationship and the fellowship, because of course you and I would know you may have a relationship with somebody but doesn't have the level of fellowship for that unification. So I think that is getting the best of a lot of people. I mean, we've spoken to great extent when it comes on to emotional intelligence. Yes, things will be said. Yes, persons will have different views, but I think with the culture still taking over, and it's westerly as well, I've seen is that if you disagree with somebody's perspective, it's almost like it's combative. The sheer aspect of it where I can gracefully agree to disagree, right? They said 7 brothers, 7 different minds. And I think that is something that has to be forged again. Especially when you're speaking on something that
there seems to be this cobweb, where people just are floating around with different lives, making trouble. It's quite frankly distasteful.
It is, neighbor, but then again, I also need to understand that there are persons with different agendas, right? And it may not be in unison with another person, and as such someone will always take offense to something. But again, it's just how you handle the matter, especially in what forum. And the major thing to neighbor, I think persons don't understand, when you're speaking on topics and as adults, there are times you have to actually have that rhinoceros skin. So things are said and you have to be tough. You have to be looking through a different lens. You can't be emotional every time, because we all know you can't make decisions on emotions. Feelings are temporary. So regardless of what is being said and how it's being said, that person is responsible for what they say. You're responsible for how you interpret it and how you act afterwards, right? And I think that's something a lot of persons in the heat of the moment let that get the best of them.
Is there anything wrong in encouraging supporters, bloggers of the Jamaica Labour Party to avoid hostile territories where they are obviously going to be embarrassed and thrown off? Is there anything wrong in encouraging them to use better common sense?
But neighbor, I think it's one of the things they have to take a leaf out of the opposition books, and I've given several examples of it as somebody who just loves Jamaica and want to see the betterment of Jamaica, where I engage in conversation with either persons from either political parties. But the common thing with the opposition is that they will never speak bad about anything regarding to them, right? They will handle it internally. I think that is something I don't see being fostered at all levels with a lot of Jamaica Labour Party persons.
Now, I made a comment last night that there is an absence of these persons from this platform, and I understand today that they don't come because I don't go to them. Now, I did not know that we were in an exchange. Oh my God. I didn't know we were in an exchange, Harry.
Well, I guess that is the thing, neighbor. As I said, a lot of persons, they from their lens, because I want to see it as well, they want to see it as support for support. Probably some persons see it as competition. You may have another group, for example, let's say you and Kimmy could be collaboration. I mean, we've seen collaboration with Abs, the news lady. So there's three different ways of looking at it. And a neighbor, the truth is, in life, you're going to have people who are competing with you that you don't know you're in a competition with. And as such, persons will act on things. So I think you can find the word. So they will think things so deeply that they start to believe it is reality when it is not so. Almost like a state of delusion, right?
But I didn't realize the thing for me to for you to appear as a guest on this program, it means I need to go support you. What does that mean?
It's just that thing where they want to benefit. I think they will see it as a beneficial thing for if you visit their platform, your neighborites will visit them. Well, I think they would hope that the additional in terms of taps and likes and even shared, the gifts and so on. I think that a larger following they would want to see it as. But the thing about it is that their perspective, their agenda, and how they want to go about what they're doing differs from what you're doing. And also that's where a potential major clash may be, because the truth is you may and will not see a lot of persons, regardless of political affiliations, come to this side of of TikTok, because is it one, they can't contribute to the conversation. Two, they are so staunchly linked to one thing. Three, they're tribalistic in thinking. Once they hold a perspective, them not let it go, and you can't tell them nothing different, right? So a lot of that has to be taken into consideration.
We were flagged and that there was a joint effort to boycott the program because what? I didn't know that.
Well, neighbor, that one is news to me, because I really don't see this as that. I think persons need to understand that you can't done the social media platform. For TikTok, you can't outrun it. You can't control everything. people will have their views. People will have their preferences. We've seen here you have people who said they don't go anywhere else. They're right where Hello Neighbor is. And likewise other platforms, Neighbor, because also the content that's put out differs. And in a case like this, it would almost be as if you want to, and in terms of these persons, almost like you want to dictate where persons go. That's not how the space works, Neighbor. There's more than enough room here.
Yeah,
and if we
share with our listeners our weekly viewers, is there anything boastful about that?
No, Neighbor, it is something that you want the people to be a part of it. That's one way of inclusivity, right? Because the program is going 10 months now, right? I think from 9 going 10 months. And it's growth. If you don't highlight how valuable your viewers are, how your neighbor rights are, to let them know that, hey, I didn't do this alone. It is our program. It is Jamaica's program. And likewise, anybody with their platforms, Neighbor. Right? This is how you have and bring the people who support you.
I am showing off on them by telling them, by announcing how many views. I thought that this was something that you know the Nielsen report in the United States, Harry?
Go again for me, Neighbor. I didn't hear that.
Have you heard about the Nielsen report?
No, Neighbor.
Well,
haven't come across it.
Yeah, they every night you hear so. Nielsen is able to tell you how much people watch every cable show, and it's published the next day. You know. Yes, it's done every night. It's done. So if you watch Hannity, any one of them you watch, they are able to tell you how many people were tuned in, and those numbers are published, Harry. I just share the reports of this for my viewers to know that we are not doing badly at all. It's not to show off on anyone.
Right, and the thing as well with it, Neighbor, you see when something is growing, you will always all right. If you don't find objections, or if you don't see any, I don't want to use the word any, but if there's nothing or no one that comes up against you, it simply means that one, you're either not growing, and two, you may just be in alignment with the wrong areas. But if you do have those things, it simply means whatever you're doing, it is garnering strength that may offend others, that persons may want to emulate, that also persons may simply just think, as I said, I think you're showing off, Neighbor, but they don't understand or refuse at times to think at a higher level. Right? And that is something we've spoken about in terms of emotional intelligence, again, Neighbor. We've spoken about educational levels as well, and critical thinking. Because I would not think that, Neighbor. Right? I see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see other, let's say, overseas persons when they do similar things. It is garnered the same way. It is seen in the same light. So it simply means it's something within our cultural sphere that's a problem, because this is not a problem. Because why would they blog? Why would they
team up almost against? I don't understand. I find it incredulous. I don't know. Would you consider yourself a Labour Party blogger? Would you?
Me, never, not nowhere close, never ever.
Would you consider me?
Never, I don't see as a vlogger. I see as somebody who has a program looking to ensure people understand the truth. You challenge information that is put out there, regardless of where the truth may lies, where the facts go. Because I said it to people always, I go where the facts are. And you've heard me say it many times here when I'm being critical of any situation.
Correct.
I go where the truth is. I go where the facts are. And wherever they put me, when I'm sharing, when I'm doing my research, when I'm speaking, then feel free to align and say I'm aligned with something, because I've been here, neighbor, and you've heard me, for example, as I said, let's say Mark Golding. I said he asks extremely good questions
I just said
regarding
that.
JPS.
Philip Paulwell, that they are good questions. It's just that they're not credible.
Right.
The man asking them are not credible.
Right. And I think what happens is that people think this is black or white. There's things in life that is not black and white. Right? And if you're not with me, this is how the thinking goes. If you don't agree with me or you're not with me, then you must be against me. Why can't I just be the person trying to find the truth?
Yeah. So our program then Harry, is that we run a talk show, we run a program here, and we're not bloggers for any party. It's not so.
Precisely so, neighbor.
Why are
Precisely
we
so.
into a why are we being aligned? We don't need to be aligned.
Well, neighbor, put it this way. The nature of your program differs. It's unique. And it's not something that can be replicated because of the personal relationship that has been fostered, the perspectives of the persons who are on the program, who comes up on the panel and so on from time to time. That is not something you can replicate or duplicate anywhere else, because the views, the perspectives will always be shared differently. They will always be coined differently, because I can use an example. I can't communicate how Scratchy can communicate.
Yes, no can
I bring information. Exactly. I bring information different from you. I may also communicate on matters for other people to understand. And then you, of course, for example, your neighbor's notes, detailed, critical. It is not something that exists when we look at Jamaica TikTok. It is only here. So I can't understand how it is now seen as a competition. It is a structured program, right, with specific setup, with anything to deal with politics. I mean, the other day we switched it up a little, we played some music and so on, right? But it still doesn't.
Like it. I understand. The listeners didn't like it at all.
but when you look at it, neighbor, it is one in which, again, it is. I want to put it for a lot of people because it's new to the Jamaica space, to Jamaica TikTok. I think our program is an acquired taste. And when you get to understand what is being said, how it's being said, what it's targeting, because you can't just get up and just love neighbor shows in a neighbor, right? It has to be something starting from the individual. So a lot of persons actually personalize the program with themselves. Now, if I compare that to, and I don't want to call any names, to another program where it's sporadic, it's filled with a lot of noise, it's talking over, it just sounds chaotic from time to time, right? In an environment like that, you don't foster facts, because you can't dig deep enough with it. You can't explain it properly without being interrupted. And most of the times you leave with less than you went with. And I think, for example, for persons who goes to tertiary education, right? And people are not putting on anybody, but there's something critical when you visit tertiary education. In order to survive, and by survive I mean to pass, just passing, not even to get first class, or just to pass, you have to foster relationships, you have to have group work. And what that group work does is it allows you to unearth different ways, it allows you to work with different people, and more so, neighbor, you now have to have a greater appreciation of the strength of anybody you come across. And it is not competing. Because if you're competing in a group, I guarantee you, you're not even going to survive when you're there. And that's how you learn. But it is not something I've seen.
Would you encourage the participation in other programs? Do you see that as necessary, or it's a choice?
Well, it is a choice, neighbor, right? Fully a choice. Oh, for me, neighbor, I don't think so, neighbor. So there's one thing, right? Because of the uniqueness of the program, and also the program is an extension of you. So you have a brand. You are a brand, right? To be meddling and to be seen everywhere, that brand value diminishes. Plus, if you go everywhere, you don't control the space you're seen in once you're everywhere. So to have that control and to protect your brand, because this is one thing in the neighbor, in this space it is unforgiving, it is brutal. You can simply just probably be on live on somebody else's program, and something goes down horribly wrong, and a video is made with persons on the panel and your name is there. You didn't say anything, you didn't partake, but you were on the program. You may not partake in what happened at the time, but best believe you're going to hear, and the one neighbor did over there too, Now there's no coming back from that.
Yes.
And people have to understand, you are a human being, you have your own choices. You choose where you want to be seen, and that is something the highest and the best of people do. Because, neighbor, in order to preserve your value, you can't be everywhere.
Yeah.
And that is something people don't understand.
That if you don't come to my program, I don't. I don't understand that type of thinking. We are offering a product. We open our lines. You want to join? Fine. You don't want to join? We can't come take your phone and punch requests. The fact of the matter is that when we close, we have other things to do. Why should I just be hopping here and there because I want you to come to me? I go to you. That's rubbish.
Exactly, neighbor. And then doing that, and this is, so it's called time management. And you've heard me from when I just came on the program. There are things that you put in boxes. You have priority, you have importance, not so important, and then least important. The program for you, based on how you set your time, you have to do research. You have to ensure you have your list of pieces. You have to know then, after putting both of those together, you have to now be able to coin and collate all that information. Plus, there's a way of delivery that it doesn't always come natural. That is something that is worked on every single time. And for example, if people listen to motivational speakers, they'll tell you these things. It's how you build yourself as a brand, and that is how you get the information across with impact, being effective.
People don't even realize that you have to you have to select all words.
Neighbor, if you look at it,
go ahead.
You're here, and people said you give them the, for lack of a term, you give them the motivate. Neighbor, to be associated in the same sentence as somebody as Mutty Perkins.
It's something else, see?
I don't think this generation understands, because most of them never listen to Mutty the way way they should.
Yeah.
Right? So the caliber, and nothing is wrong with that. Some persons were never able to listen to him. Some people never know him exist, and that's fine. But he was a product. We learned from him. We understand how he contribute to the critical thinking
Oh, yes.
of individuals. And I can tell you, when you come across persons of that caliber, when you associate yourself, when you network with the work of people like that, because you don't have to necessarily see him, or be there. When you're associated with his work,
Yes.
it helps you to build your network.
Ah, lovely.
And that in itself push your brand.
Lovely.
Because hello neighbor comes firstly from you.
Yes.
I can tell you, neighbor, you can know people, right, here in the public sphere, and persons who know you by your right name, you know what segment of your life they fall. But you're going to hear a person say, hello neighbor, and you know
Correct.
exactly
Yes.
what they're speaking about and who they're speaking about. I can tell you, you'll have people here, as much as them love you, and this is a human thing, who may never be able to separate hello neighbor from you personally. And that is how strong the bond is and the brand is.
Wow.
And it's the same for anybody who have their podcast, right? And their lives. What you're associated with and what you put out becomes a part of you, a part of your value and your values.
Yes. And in that respect and regard, I thank you for that, Harry. We are not better than anyone else over here, Harry. We're not better than going on it. I've been on Kimmy's, I've been on Chuck. Where else have I been? I've been on Voice of the Nation. I don't see myself as better than them, sir. It's just that I don't think it's necessary for me to be just jumping over the place. I don't think that it's because I feel myself better. One man tell me that I am condescending. Do you find our delivery to be condescending, how we talk to people here, sir?
Neighbor, like I said before, and I love to reiterate it because human beings learn through repetition, and I'm going to repeat it once more. What I say, what you say, we're responsible for that. How somebody interprets what we put out, it is up to them, and we don't have control over that. Because people feel they're in competition with you and maybe with others. We don't know that. People perceive you, and this is something in Jamaica. You ever hear Jamaicans look at somebody and say, so them bossy, and
Yes.
you're like, but all him do is stand up over there. So, or he maybe just don't wine at the sun, him go find a cool shade. How that bossy? It is a choice of what you do. And what you want to put out to ensure you maintain your value is a choice of how you go about it. And nobody can dictate that to you. The only time that happens is when somebody's a sheep or we're back in slavery, where you have somebody over you pulling the strings. And as Minister Morgan said, Jamaica is one of the most free countries in the world. So why should I conform to what I don't tolerate, much less accept? It is not something I want to associate with. You don't get to dictate that to me. I choose where I want to go. I choose the content I want to consume. Because understand this, neighbor, and this is a little thing for people. The average human has made only 5 to 7 real decisions every day. All right? The rest of it, this is how valuable it is. Those 5 to 7 decisions are key. And when you structure things, it helps you to maintain those 5 to 7 decisions because you don't want to use those decision-making time on things that are not priority and of importance.
Yes.
So if you are everywhere, you just use one. You choose to go on somewhere else that may not give you the value. And understand this as well, people. There's something called diminishing return. If you're everywhere, you get nothing done. So you may be you think you're putting in more work, but you're just brute forcing it. And there's also something called the preservation of the mind.
Yes.
The brain uses more energy than anywhere else of the body. Up to 70% at that. Right? It doesn't matter if you're a gym junkie or not. The brain does that naturally every day. And you consuming things that are not valuable is wasting temporary memory, permanent long-term memory as well. You need it to consume proper contents, the best of the world, neighbor, and we want everybody to be great. They don't consume every and anything. They aren't seeing every and anywhere. And that is something people need to understand. Because if you look at it, a coffee bean is worth less on the farm than it is when it is brewed. And that's just the truth. And it's the same coffee bean, you know. And now if that, let's say it is brewed in a corner shop and then the same coffee bean is brewed in a Starbucks, its value goes up. So people need to understand these things. Nobody's stopping you from creating your own and putting out your own brand and whatever you choose to want it to reflect. But don't try to impose it in a rage baiting way or in a negative light or gaslighting because you're not somewhere else. Sometimes coffee, sometimes tea, what is for you is not for me. And people need to understand that. That is critical to anybody's development. It doesn't matter who you are. And the sooner people get that, and this is a thing, neighbor, and it sounds so harsh when I'm going to say it, but this type of thing, and I go really harsh, happens predominantly from a specific race. And that's a black race.
Oh my.
And it is the truth. People can accept it or not. Go and go research it. We are more individualistic in what we want to do, but also we are the greatest imposers of these things. The two can't exist. You can't be individualistic, but yet still you want to impose it for somebody else to follow. No. That don't make no sense. But we failed in that aspect. If you look at other races, and this is not to put down a race or whatever, because the black race is if not the most exceptional one, we just don't get it right. Because we major in the minor. The best way to put it. Because why are you focusing on the numbers of somebody else and in the negative light? Neighbor, if I have a podcast or a program and I'm here with you, potentially my time here will be lowered because of course I'm putting more time in whatever else I'm doing. It's not to say I'm not to say I'm competing with you. I may also emulate when I see the numbers you're putting out. That's motivation for me. Because it simply means you would have been a level higher.
Yeah.
And I want to and I'm not in a competitive light, but you would have shown that I can go higher. So let's say I have 100,000 views per week and you have 2 times that. I want to know what you did right and learn from it. Not to say, look on neighbor over there, sir.
Isn't it true that you can try as you want to duplicate, replicate? There are just some people, Harry, that are going to stand out, in life. They're going to be there and nothing you can do to stop them. It's not that true. That the best we can do is to be ourselves.
Exactly, neighbor. And what happens when you embody, I know people have said their truth. I love to believe the truth, right? Because people miscue it, people misunderstand it when they say my truth, and most times what their truth is no make sense. It is emotionally filled. But the truth is there are people who are born with X factors, there are people who develop X factors, that separates them. Talent and hard work, there's two total different things, right? And people who work on their craft. And you see, because persons don't see the work that is put in the back end, they just think it comes up. And nobody needs to show what happens in the back end, but you have to appreciate the result. And the truth is, everybody wants the sweetness, want to be at the top, but nobody truly wants to do the work, the commitment that it takes to get there. And that is the truth. It is not my truth, it's not your truth, neighbor. That is the truth. When the work call, turn up. You turn up whether you don't like, you don't want to. You turn up whether you're tired. Neighbor, I know times you're here when you're under the weather. But you turn up.
Yeah. Not only that, sir, I tell you, getting up early in the morning to prepare for 9 o'clock, not easy. And, the heights of great men reach and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward through the night. Top of the night to you, God riches on me, top of the live chat, yeah? Well, we're under restrictions tonight, again. Our numbers have remained flat because they have restricted the live again. What have we said? What have we done? Why we are constantly being restricted? What is happening to our live, Harry? Why we just restricted every night? So,
well, neighbor, when something doesn't fall in line and something stands out, there are measures that are employed to get a program, an individual, or a group of people to potentially fall in line. And we've seen this. We can bring Jamaica got independence in 1962, neighbor. These strategies are not necessarily modern. The good book tells us there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah, under restriction and positive vibe. By the way, hope and positive vibe. I tell you, yeah, it is. Go ahead, Harry.
Yes. So because we know nothing is new under the sun, it's just packaged a little differently. It comes in a different shape and form, but it is the same end result looking to be achieved, and that is to remove a specific thing that challenges. And this is the thing about it, in a neighbor. We don't accept challenges or something that challenges what we believe, because persons think what they believe is ultimate, and they don't understand that things also change, and there are things you can learn from changes. And the major thing about it is that when something new comes to the forefront from the intellectual and educational standpoint, it's sad to say this culture in Jamaica predominantly does not gravitate to it in the best way. Because I can tell you, neighbor, with last night's show and probably tonight's, may get some of the highest views elsewhere.
Yes.
Because
yes,
people may see it as, oh, they're going off script, and they may be rattled, and they may be argumentative, and there's no peace in paradise, to put it that way, right? But the truth is, there are things we will address. We choose to address specific things. And those things have to be enough, because of course lions don't roar when a dog barks, neighbor.
Yeah, that
people need to understand that.
We were the first program to do political forecasting in Jamaica on this pacer. You know that?
See, I didn't even know, neighbor, and I'm one of the newcomers. So
yes, we were the first program, myself and Casey, Did you know that, sir, on election night we had 10,000 votes?
Look at that.
This platform had more than 10, I mean, at one time, so when you look up on the screen, there were 10,000 on viewers, that on election night, sir, we had more than 1 million likes. Yeah. And did you know, sir, that this was the first platform anywhere in Jamaica to call the election? We called it first.
And imagine persons in the media space would have thought Nationwide would have called it first, neighbor. Look at that.
We called the election long before Nationwide was able to call it. So based on the information we had over here, KC worked with us for the entire period, and so there are many firsts for us, sir. And the fact of the matter is that we have delivered what I think is a quality product, and we can only do better as we go forward. And so I know that some persons may be looking on and thinking, oh well, he has isolated himself from. No, I haven't. I really haven't. Oh, we have lost my my friend Harry. All right, Harry, come back. Natasha, are you there? Tasha, hi. Tasha, you're not there? No? Right. So,
sorry about that, neighbor. My device just closed TikTok to do an update a while ago.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, there you go. Anyway, Harry. We in a relatively short time have established a product here, and we want to make sure that our listeners, when they come here, that we are able to deliver to them what they pay for, because they pay with their time, not true?
Right. And the thing about it, neighbor, I don't think people understand that throughout the day and so on, to ensure we maintain, and specifically for me, because again, I'll keep on saying I'm the newcomer, I'm the new kid on the block, right? And people don't understand that it is the commitment to the truth and facts that gets us to, and I've said it, I've scheduled the program specifically at 7 to 9 in my personal life, because I have a duty to ensure I can identify medium, or rather a media, to pluralize it, that I can put out the information that I know that are factual, to be a part of something bigger that can impact not just communities but the nation, right? From so many reasons, because I want to live in a nation where we uphold the truth, we fight for the truth, we put the facts out and leave the feelings for later. That is something that Jamaica needs to get back to, and I want to be a part of that process, because it is the only way that I can say I had skin in the game and be proud to call myself a Jamaican. I don't think people understand the sacrifice that is made. And kid you not, neighbor, people would think each and every person who come up here, whether it be a Scratchy, a you, a Caroline, even a Kerry, or myself, they would truly think we have skin in the game at a different level.
Yes.
But we're just committed to the cause, and that cause is to get Jamaica to the where it should be, to also bring information and unearth the truth of things, so people can finally understand what has happened in Jamaica. And you need to understand what happened to not make the same mistake again and build on that going forward. But people will not think of that. I'm at work, I listen during the mornings, hence why I don't participate. But I multitask. Right? There are times I'm there listening, and then I probably jump to a meeting, and then I come back to listen, and I do my research on things that I already know. But I also want to ensure I maintain the quality I see here and then add to it going forward. But people cannot believe that because they don't do it, and they will never do it because they're not committed enough to a cause that
Right.
doesn't have financing involved. That is the purpose of it. And they need to get with it, because remember, in